Okay, listen, when we're talking about managers getting the sack, how can we not mention Tottenham Hotspurs? Pochettino has been given that role. Tim Sherwood done an okay job. He was never going to get it, Kenny, as far as I'm concerned. Pochettino has come in from, he done a great job down at Southampton, but
a fantastic job down at Southampton.
I mean, we wouldn't put too much money on him being there at the beginning of next season, would we?
I think Tottenham under him they're going to have a great season. I think he's going to get the best out of the players, where the previous two managers, for me, hardly got anything out of them. I see him play. I think it was the first game at the Emirates last season, and honestly, Tottenham there was 8 in their own half keeping the ball, and they were 1-0 down.
I think he'll play the Tottenham way, Kenny. I think he's going to play.
But you've got to make the individuals play the Tottenham way first. Then you become a team, because I think possibly the game of football is individual first. So he has to get them, all them newcomers, and we was talking before we come on the show, getting to know each other.
Yeah, I think that it starts by giving the players a bit of confidence, and starts from the back. And Lloris has recently been given a 5-year contract, and that is a very big plus. But the other players are going to suddenly say, well, hang on, here's a bit of a stability, a 5-year contract for a goalkeeper. They're making a mark there straight away. They're saying, look, this is our goalkeeper and we want him long term. This is our manager, we want him long term.
But it's an unbalanced squad, though. So
at the moment, it's an unbalanced squad. But what's the squad going to be like when we start? How no one really foresaw what Pochettino did at Southampton, but he turned that side into a very well-knit unit. And you know what? The one problem that Tottenham have had recently is they don't know what their best players is. I think that Eriksen is going to be the player that Tottenham are going to rely on this season in a big way, and I think he's going to explode this season.
So Louis van Gaal, we touched on that. I mean, there's absolutely no point. You know,
Louis van Gaal could walk out. But listen, I know Louis van Gaal very well. I was very close to Ajax when they won that Champions League in '95 and got to the final in '96. I think he's an absolutely amazing bloke in a lot of respects, but he's arrogant and he will make sure that he gets his way. Now, you're talking about Ed Woodward and Van Gaal. At the moment, they're getting on fine, but there will be a moment when those two have an ego clash, and you wouldn't want to be.
Will we see it? I don't know about that.
I think he's safe. I think Manchester United are going to have a great season.
I like Harry.
No Champions League, no European League football. I totally agree. That'd be a challenge.
I think the arrogance is great.
Yeah.
Alan Irvine has taken over West Bromwich Albion. That's a funny old club. I don't know why Stephen Clark.
It's a funny appointment. It's got to be. I think.
I mean, where's that come from?
It shocked everyone.
Him being sacked was ridiculous. He should have
Stevie
kept
Clark
his job.
you're talking about?
Yeah, of course. Stevie Clark should have stayed there. Done a fantastic job. You know, Alan, he's out of the blue.
Well, if Pepe Mel was out the blue, then Alan Irvine was even more left. But listen, West Bromwich Albion are a yo-yo club. They've been up and down. The word stability and West Bromwich do not go together.
Last but not least, Ronald Koeman has taken over down at Southampton. Pochettino has left them in a great condition. Unfortunately, they've sold a lot of players, some of their big players. That must be a concern for Southampton fans. And Ronald Koeman is coming in, vastly experienced, not only a player, but as a manager as well. But
he's got to replace them players. But them players coming in, you can't make them think that you're replacing Luke Shaw. It's not that. That's not the case. And I'm sure he's a very experienced manager. He won't let that happen. But he's got to replace them as soon as.
I mean, he was at Feyenoord and he did a very good job with Feyenoord last season. The interesting thing about every time that Koeman's managed to get good team spirit wherever he's been, and he was popular with the players as well. And you've got to also remember he's a world-renowned name, and people will be attracted to Southampton. Ronald Koeman,
no chance.
Ronald Koeman will attract players to Southampton, whereas another lower key manager might not. Southampton's an attractive place for a foreign player to come to. They look at the map, they see it's a nice place to live, it's an hour from London. There's a lot of advantages for Southampton. It's up to Koeman. He could do a job like Laudrup did for Swansea.
Plus, he knows Europe so well. And he'll know the players that say, he fits in here.
And there's an airport a mile from the ground. Right. I mean, you might think I'm crazy by saying that, but I'll tell you what, those are the sort of little issues that players look to and say, well, if I want to get home and see a family, you know, especially foreign players,
of course,
where can I fly to? I can fly to
Southampton. Take a couple of weeks off and go home.
There you go. When you look at the three sides that got relegated last season, Fulham, Cardiff and Norwich all changed their managers, some twice, as it turned out. What does that tell us? Does it tell us that changing the manager doesn't work? I know there were some sides that stayed up, such as Swansea, who changed their manager. But will we expect the sides that get relegated next season to have changed their manager?
I wouldn't be at all surprised. It's panic. It's the
I
one
think
word,
most
panic.
probably 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Most probably lose their job. Unless, you know, if, the biggest word as I say, you know, if they get loads of injuries and they get unlucky during the season, players shouldn't be, you know, and have a poor season in that regard, then they might respect the manager a little bit more. But if you get relegated and you don't perform the way you should perform, then I would say 2 out of 3 most probably.
First manager to get the sack, Angus.
To get the sack or to leave, it's quite hard.
Come on in. First manager to leave his post in the Premier League, whether it's sacked or whether he walks.
I say Harry Redknapp.
Sam Allardyce.
I'm going to join you. I'm going to go Sam Allardyce. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
Okay, you've heard what the boys have had to say. It's your chance to have your say. Who will be the first manager to be sacked or leave his post in the Premier League? You can tweet us at Talk2Fanzone. 2 is the number 2, or you can email talk@FootballFan.zone. Get involved, or you can also post videos, blogs, or articles and questions to the lads.